Hey, welcome to Gerb's Grubs. Today we're just going to be making a chicken pot pie. Let's start off with our prep. Start by cutting up some chicken here. Now I will add there is a lot of prep for this dish because it is on the stove, which means we're dealing with an open flame, so we got to have all of our ingredients at the ready to be added. Now let's make our dough for that pie crust. We're going to need to add some flour here, as well as sugar and some kosher salt. Let's pulse that together to mix the dry ingredients. I guess butter's a dry ingredient as well here. Once we add these, it should turn into a gravelly consistency, very crumbly. And once it's there, we know we're ready to add our water. Alright, let's add that water here. Now as we pulse, it's going to turn into that dough texture that I'm sort of going for here. Alright, now it looks ready. We're going to add our flour to the cutting board. Sprinkle it around and let's dump our dough on there. Now we're not making our crust yet. We just need to refrigerate the dough so that when we make the crust, it's ready to be molded easier. So we're just going to cut that in half here and make two discs, one for the bottom and one for the top. Gotta fill in some of those cracks on that first disc. Alright, looks ready for the Ziploc bag. Let's throw that in there and let's throw it in the fridge. Let's move on to our vegetables. I'm gonna start with the carrots. Taking some shavings off here. We got 2 carrots we're dealing with today. Cut off both ends there, even the small one. Throw our shavings away, and let's move on to the second one. Alrighty, it's about done. Let's chop off those ends here again. Let's move on to the chopping. Alright, let's chop them a few at a time here. Alright, your carrot's just about done here. And our next vegetable up is going to be an onion. It's my first time actually dealing with an onion. Gotta peel that onion layer back first. It did not make me cry chopping onions. Myth busted. Alright, the cool thing I like about onions is you just make these little slits into the onion and then it does its work for you. You just make one slice and then chops them into little pieces. Alright, let's do the other half now. Alright, our last vegetable is going to be garlic. We're just going to scoop that in first though here. We're going to be mincing 2 garlic cloves today. So let's smash. Throw that in the mincer. Boom. Let's get this ready here. Boom. Minced. Actually, we might need to mince a little bit more here. Boom. Alright, let's move on. We just need a couple of frozen peas, as well as chicken broth. And last but not least, some flour. There's our ingredients. And now that we've got all of our ingredients prepped, we can now make our filling. Start cooking by melting some butter. Once that butter is fully melted, we can add our carrots and onion. Now that that's added, we can bring that to a simmer. Now that that's bubbling and simmering, we can add our mushrooms and minced garlic. Alright, that's great. Now we can add our flour, get these things sticking together. Alright, I think it's ready to add that chicken broth. So right now it's very liquidy, so we're going to add some heavy cream to give it a thicker consistency, sort of like a soup consistency. Make that the same color. Here's a regular timed video to show you all the consistency that we're dealing with here. Now it's down to the final steps. Let's add some salt, chicken, and our frozen peas. Now once that's finally mixed, we can work on our pie crust and include that into the chicken pot pie. Let's crack an egg into this bowl here. It's going to be for glazing the top of the chicken pot pie before it goes in the oven. Let's take our first disc and start rolling it out. We're going to need this disc to be about 12 inches in diameter. So that's what I'm doing here. We are going to use our rolling pin to transport it into our tin there. This way it doesn't tear or rip as I transfer it. Alright, first crust is in. Let's add our filling now. It's about time for that second pie crust. Since it's the top crust, we are going to have to make it a little bit smaller, so we're going to make this disc into a 10-inch diameter. Alrighty, there we go. Now we're just going to tuck that in, make a nice little design. That's ready to go in the oven after I make slits. Glaze the egg over the top. And season it with some salt as well as some pepper. Alright, let's throw that in the oven. Here we go. And here's the final result. Thank you all for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Peace.